On this episode of Delivering Marketing Joy, I talk with Brandon Pecharich from PromoCorner, and he gives you tips on how to create great videos. What's up? Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and joining me today is like an industry rock star, a rising star, a video stud. We could come up with a bunch of things, but I think his official title is Digital Media Director at PromoCorner, Brandon Pecharich. Thanks, man. Appreciate you joining me.
Hey, thanks a lot, Kirby. This is, third year in a row, man. I love it.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. We've got a little bit of a tradition going, and I dig it. And what I like is I think we're seeing, your career transition, and we can dig into a couple of those things today. So that's kind of cool. So one of the things I know about you, really over the last 3 years, it started before this, but really in the last 3 years, you've built a brand in our industry by creating video and lots of video. Why did you decide to focus on video content, and how has that worked for you?
Yeah, great question. So I watch a lot of videos, whether it's just, the fun stuff on Vine, rest in peace Vine, or the new version TikTok, or even just like changing oil in my car. Like, how do I do this? I go to YouTube and there's 1,000 videos on other guys changing car or oil in the exact car I've got. So I liked the whole education part of it, and I wanted to start. I wanted to start educating people in the industry, and that's where Promo A Day came from. It was originally an educational piece, right? And I'm not very good at words. I don't like to read.
I'm not very good at words. That's great.
I didn't want to bore people with my very low grade level of writing and reading, but there was a quote out there that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I record video at 30 frames or 30 pictures a second. Right. So that's a lot of words that I don't have to write. So I kind of looked at video that way, that I can get a lot of information out, deliver it in a very fun and quick way so that you can get in, get out, rewatch it as many times as you want, and actually copy what I'm doing, feel, see, all of that jazz, right? So I wanted to leverage video too to build my personal brand as well, right? So not just the shows and not just my job itself, but to actually build my brand up. And I'd say it's worked out pretty well because, as you said in my intro, I am the digital media director at PromoCorner, and that is my job. I edit video, and I love to edit video. And if you love what you do, the quote, you never work a day in your life. So I'm doing a pretty good job right now, and I think video's gotten me there. Yeah. So,
well, and I think what's interesting is you talked about sort of the weakness of it, right? That you're like, oh, I don't like to write or whatever. But, I talk to people all the time. It's like, find the thing that you really enjoy doing and leverage that. And that's what you did. You're like, hey, not only am I obviously you enjoy being on camera, but also just I like the idea of putting it together. And that's how you find content that's interesting because you're passionate about it as well. So that's great, man. So let's say somebody's watching this and they want to, they like the idea of doing video for their business or their organization. What are some tips that you have for people that want to create that video for their organization?
Yeah, that's awesome. There's a lot of people out there that have created, big YouTube stars that have these amazing shows, and they do all these amazing graphics, and their resolution is the sharpest I've ever seen ever. And I don't know how they do it. Well, I know it's a very expensive equipment, but anyway, that goes into my number one thing is just keep it simple. One of our favorite creators, I know you like him as well, Casey Neistat, always says the best camera is the one you have in your hand.
Yes.
So I love that. I think if everybody who wanted to create a video would just realize that you don't need, a $40,000 red camera. You don't need the top of the line microphones. Yeah, those are nice for when you're doing big production, but when you're just trying to create a video for your business or your brand, just keep it simple. Start with your cell phone. And again, like you said, do something that you want to do. If you're you're obviously in the promotional products industry or in the insurance industry or auto sales or whatever you're doing, you obviously love that because you're doing it, then show people that you do.
Yeah.
So that would be one thing. And then, build your audience. Before you start to build all of your gear, build your audience back up, right? So start to find other circles that like the same things you do. Right. And then once you build the audience, then you can start building the gear up, and then you can start creating those amazing videos with all of those transitions.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that is great advice, Brandon. It was funny. I was speaking, and obviously we're both video nerds, so we can talk about this. But I remember showing at a conference I was speaking at, and I was showing a vlog that I'd put together about a race. And I was talking to a whole sales team and said, "Hey, everybody could do this," and they, yeah, but what kind of equipment? What did you shoot that with? And I literally went, every single shot was shot with this phone, every single one. And you could just see him go. And I was like, yeah, so put your excuses away, right? Like, yeah, I spent a lot of time editing it, but the actual cameras on cell phones today are incredible. And so I think that's great advice, buddy.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious about this one. I think I know a few of these, but I really want to jump into. So what or who are some creators that you enjoy watching or who inspire you?
Okay. Well, so obviously you and I are in the promotional products industry together, and so I'm going to focus on that first, and I'm going to do 3 in there, and then I'm going to do 3 outside of the industry that have kind of helped me. So inside the industry right now is Patrick and Irving over at Perfect Imprints.
Yeah.
Those guys are doing some fun stuff, man. Super trendy. It's in Instagram stories. It's all over their YouTube and Facebook page. They're doing some fun stuff, and they're 2 characters, so they're staying authentic and they're just having some fun doing it. Another one that I'm really into is this new kid from Spectre and Company. He's doing Product Knowledge Mondays, so they call it PK Mondays. His name is Evan, and I don't know if you've seen these, man, but you gotta go check out their Facebook page. They are hilarious. He's done like a James Bond ripoff. He's done a couple of these really cool edits, and you can just tell he totally loves what he's doing, and he's taken his love for promotional products and done it too. And then the last one, still inside the industry, there's a lady down south from Pinnacle Promotions. She does a show called Sarah Selects. Awesome show. So it's a product show. She takes 4 items or products that she's very interested in, tells you about them, gives you all the benefits, and then tells you which one she selects. Totally awesome show. Like I hit that notification bell. I love when it comes on, and I'm like, yes, that is awesome. So
this is great. These are because 2 of these I'd not heard of, so I'm excited to check those out. Good work. That's cool. Okay, outside of the industry.
Yeah, so now outside of the industry, obviously the one that got me starting it all, it was Mr. D-Rock with Gary Vee. I mean, the amount of content those guys put out blows me away. Yeah. I mean, I get that that's D-Rock's job, record everything that I do, but literally he turns everything that he does into a piece of content. So if I ever need some encouragement or I've got writer's block or whatever, I just throw on some Gary Vee and look at all the work that him and D-Rock are doing together. So that's one. Number 2 is so with my new position, I'm really getting into a lot of the 3D stuff and a lot of the transitions and a lot of the graphics. And so there's a YouTube channel out there called Cinecom.com or .net, excuse me, Cinecom.net. These guys are awesome. They're out in Norway, and the guys Jordy and Janik, and they are hilarious. They do a show called Copycat Friday where they show you how to redo either like an effect in a movie or like a music video or anything like that.
Cool.
So those guys are pretty cool. And then my number 1 right now, my number 1 go-to is Peter McKinnon up in Toronto. Guy is crushing it. He's got a new facility. I can't wait to see some of the videos that he's gonna put out. But that guy, he just won. I think he just won Breakout YouTuber of the Year. So like huge guy, growing really fast. And as a friend of, again, Casey Neistat, our favorite guy. Yeah. But Casey's not producing anything right now, so he didn't make the list.
No, that's fair. And I Peter was the guy I thought you'd mention. So his stuff is pretty awesome. So that's good stuff. Great list, man. You've answered my 3 questions. You've killed it. Give everybody a chance to ask me one question. Do you have one for me?
I do. All right. So I run a show every day. So that's one of my favorite things to do. So my question to you is, what is the one thing you look forward to doing every day?
Wow, that's a tough one. There are a lot. The reason I say it's tough is because of narrowing it down. I'll be honest with you. You know this about me, but I'm very intentional about my mornings. So I would say probably a couple things would say my mornings. I really am intentional, make my coffee the same way. I work out at the same time. I go and get breakfast at the same time. And I actually really enjoy that because I think it sets me up for success in the day. I know that sounds not exciting, but it is something that I very much enjoy. And then every single day, if I get a chance to spend time with my girls and my wife, it's why I do what I do, right? So if I can do, it's not a fair answer because I gave you about 17 things right there, but the reality of it is I love my morning routine, and then I love it when I get a chance to spend time with the family. So is that fair?
That's awesome, Kirby, man. Thanks. Yeah, that's routine is, I fear change. So I love that you've got a routine, my man.
You fear change and words, right?
Exactly.
All right, buddy. Hey, thank you so much for taking the time. We will definitely do this again. We gotta not make it a year, right? We'll do it sooner, okay?
Appreciate that.
All right. Well, that's gonna wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.